Hey, yo, is this thing on? Is it working? Y'all see me clearly, man. Yes, your boy Technically T is back on the YouTube scene. I know it's been a minute, and I know y'all been hitting me up. You know we recently moved into a new house, man, so it takes a bunch of time to set all these things up, but we back. I'm happy to see you guys. I missed you guys so much, but we got so much to talk about when it comes to this accessory game. So let's go ahead and kick it off with the most requested one since I have been going. And let's just go ahead and say this right here, man. Phone Rebel has dropped a new case. We all know about the legendary Gen 5 that's always in my top 10. It's always fighting for its life when it comes for the top 10. And we love the heavy duty protection and everything in between that the Phone Rebel Gen 5 brings. But they said, wait a minute, we got to hit you with something a little bit more minimal. Everybody doesn't want the big, bulky, and the extra features. We want something that's very clean, minimal, has that grip, but it still gives you those Phone Rebel Gen 5 features that you love in a case. And that is where the Phone Rebel Air series comes into play. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say this on market. This is going to be your best bang for your buck case out there on the market, sitting at $21.99. I mean, you can just stop the video right here and go buy it because it's like that, all right? It is like that. So let's go ahead and get into it. So, of course, I've been rocking the blue version. The blue version. This actually just came to me about a couple days ago. So I'm rocking the blue version right now. I just love the contrast that it has with that natural titanium. But the one that I've been using most during this whole move, I've been rocking with the Phone Rebel Air series in the black version. So let's go ahead and take a look at the black version. Now, the first thing that you see when it comes to this case is it's going to be a little bit on the flexible side, but don't take that as misinformation. All right. I know sometimes when we think about flexible cases, we know that sacrifices a little bit when it comes to the quality fit of a case. Not when it comes to the Air series, and we couldn't expect anything else less when it comes to Phone Rebel because we know their cases fit like an absolute glove. So it is going to be a flimsier TPU, but the case still fits amazingly well, and we will see that later on in the video. And looking at the inside, the characteristics are going to be the exact same. Looking at the Gen 5 versus the Air series, you're going to get that same design. You're going to get that MagSafe. We will test out MagSafe strength because you know we've seen this across the board. When you got two different cases like this, MagSafe kind of differs, especially when it comes to materials, because that's something we definitely going to check out right there. But flipping it over, on the top side, you get a little bit of Rebel branding right here. Going along on the right side, you're going to get a little Air branding. Power button, it does have air slits, so you can see through the button. So if that bothers you, you know I always got to mention when the case has air slits. I know some of you guys that bothers you, but it's not that big of a deal to me. On the sides, you are going to get your grips. Now, you know how to really like name dropping other cases, especially in videos, but I got to say, if you're familiar with the Kadabe synthesis, this Phone Rebel Air series is giving me Kadabe synthesis vibes when it comes to the grips on the sides. The grips are nice, subtle, isn't too aggressive, perfect for the everyday person that's looking for that grip. Flipping it over on the bottom, as you can see right here, you're going to have your openings for the Type-C port. Give me some grace. It's been a while. It might be a little bit rusty, okay? Type-C port and your actual speakers down here. Now, one thing that I do want to check about that Type-C port is if it's a little bit bigger. That was my one pet peeve when it came to Phone Rebel cases, because you really can't use every Type-C cable out there because the port head will be too big to fit inside the hole. Okay, YouTube, if you're going to demonetize me, go ahead and get it done because we starting it off already. So I definitely want to check that out, man. I've actually resorted to using only one set of Type-C cables because I know they fit in the Phone Rebel cases. So that's something that I might want to check out to see if that's still an issue that we have to still be concerned about. But on the other side here, volume up and down, action button, you get those grips. On the back, you're going to get a smooth finish that is smudge resistant. So far, I haven't really seen that many smudges on it. Now, you can't go out there and choke down a big greasy cheese pieces and don't expect to get no smudges up here. You probably get a few up there, but they keep things very clean, very minimal, and all you get is that little Rebel branding down below. So let's go ahead and grab the scale real quick and see how much we are working with. Make sure the scale is still working and on. Dropping that bad boy on the scale, and we are looking at 49 grams for the Phone Rebel Air series. So let's go ahead and switch over to the blue version, all right? Because I've been really feeling this blue. So let's go ahead and take it off, and let's, for dramatic effect, put it back on the phone, all right? So let's go ahead and snap it back on the phone, and let's see if it gives us that. That was pretty damn good for a thin, minimal TPU, flimsy type case. That was pretty good. All right, Phone Rebel. I'm with you. I'm liking what you're putting down. So let's go ahead and go through the case real quick. Top size, you already know. On the right side, power button. Sounds good. Very nice and tactile. Wouldn't expect nothing less when it comes to Phone Rebel for the buttons. Flipping it over on the bottom, you see your I keep saying your air cutouts. The cutouts for the speakers are accurate. You see the cutout for that Type-C port. That's something that we're going to, matter of fact, while we're sitting here, let's go ahead and try a thicker head cable real quick. And I know this one is like extremely big on. So that actually fit. That actually fit good right there. So that kind of popped in very good. And just for dramatic effect, let's go ahead and pop on the Gen 5 and let's see if this cable fit, because this thing looked like it wouldn't have fit. I was surprised that this popped on. So it fit on the Gen 5. Okay. All right. Well, I know some Type C cables, I know they have a little bit of an issue fitting. I know I'm not the only one that has that going on. So we'll definitely have to check that out a little bit more, but be cautious because I still feel like they look like the same size, but that's something we'll take a look at. Flipping it over on the back, you see that camera cutout is there. It gives you a little bit of raise, but nothing too crazy, but just enough when you put your phone on the table. You don't got to worry about the lens touching. All right, there it is. There it is. Now, let's take a look at that lay on the table protection for this case. Now, you know this does have those 4 feet that go all the way around, so you will get that extra little bit of protection when you were talking about laying it down on his face. So that means that, just in case you do drop it on that flat surface, you get just a little bit of a couple millimeters of protection to where you'll be good. And the phone Rebel has always protected. The Gen 5, I have dropped that thing so many times. They went on vacation with me when I recently went out of the country. It's doing this move. I've dropped my phone a lot in the past few weeks. Held me down like a champ. So I'm expecting this phone, this Series 5 to hold me down as well, the Air series to hold me down as well. Now, let's talk about the fit of this case, because we know, like I said, TPU, flimsy style, you get what I'm saying. Sometimes the fit can be a little bit off. Let's go ahead and check it out. On that top side, it feels very sturdy, no issues at all. Going along the sides, you get a little bit of give when it comes to the buttons, not too serious. Coming along down, man, very, very impressive for Phone Rebel. Very impressive going all the way down. That feels good. Getting down to the bottom area around here, the trouble area, you only get a little bit of droop, but just check out the blood vessels in my fingers. That's something that I'm actively trying to get done. So the fit of this bad boy is on point. Let's go ahead and do the snap test. All right. You don't get any super. That pop was pretty good there. All right. That was pretty straight. Mid. Okay, pretty good. All right, so the snaps all around seems pretty solid. You don't get any moving. You don't get anything feeling cheap when it comes to a TPU case, and that's something that I really check for when it comes to these cases. When you're gripping it and you don't make sure you don't feel the case kind of having a little air bubble in, everything feels so tight and on point with this case, and I can get with that. Now, how does it feel in your hand? This case feels perfect in my hand because I personally love the combination of a thin, minimal case with grip. In my opinion, it's just so hard to beat that combination, and I am here for it. And that's exactly what Phone Rebel is giving you with this. It keeps the phone profile very thin, and it gives you the grip on the sides that you need without being too aggressive and digging in your fingers. You don't got to worry about any corner digging going on because the sides are a little bit more tapered off. It may dig in your hand a little bit, but it's nothing that's going to be too bad or too uncomfortable. Like I said, I've been using this case for a couple weeks, so I already know how it feels when we're talking about the comfort level. Now, let's go ahead and get into that MagSafe, because we know Phone Rebel has always had very impressive magnets. Now, when it comes to the magnets on the Gen 5 versus the Air series, it's going to be a slight difference because on cases that are more rigid, you tend to see that it does affect the magnet, which means the magnet could be a little bit more weaker in something that's not as rigid as this Gen 5. So let's go ahead and pop it down on MagSafe. Let's see how it's working on MagSafe. It should be working just fine. So it's charging. I don't know why it didn't pop up, but the MagSafe is working. Let's go ahead and so it doesn't pick this up. It wants to. It's just getting into the gym pretty good. The workouts have been pretty decent since New Year's, but it's not quite picking this up. Don't take that as the Phone Rebel Air Series MagSafe magnet is weak, because it's not. I've been using it in my car. I've been using it all over the place, all over. It has done me just fine. Desk mount, car mount, whatever mount, I haven't had any issues. So just because it doesn't pick up this old heavy base that I'm about to destroy my table with, just made a party fire right there, it still has very impressive magnets. Let's go ahead and test out some of the MagSafe accessories for it. Go ahead and grabbing the Andor wallet. Now, I like just doing situations like this, where you might be brushing it up against things. And yeah, you see it may do a little bit of wiggling and swaying side to side, but nothing's coming off. It's not going to be coming off of this, and you're definitely not going to be able to shake and get this thing off. So just a situation where you're just sliding this in and out your pocket, this wallet isn't going anywhere because the magnets are still strong. Don't get it fooled, all right? So let's go ahead and get the MagSafe battery pack. I can't find my anchor. Might have lost it in the move, so I got to go back to the old school trusty Apple MagSafe battery pack. So let's go ahead and pop this on the phone right here, and let's just start off with very light shaking, nothing too crazy. Let's make it a little bit more violent, all right? Let's make it a little bit more violent, okay? A little bit more violent. It fell, and it went perfectly I couldn't do that again if I did it a million times. If you guys, I know you guys can't see what I'm talking about, but it literally went perfectly through the little slit of my office chair. But you guys saw right there, picking up that shakeage, it had to get to pretty violent before it flew off. That is what you want to see when it comes to the MagSafe test. When it comes to these cases, you got to shake it pretty crazy to get that case to come off, to get the charger to come off. So the quick synopsis, the quick rundown, man, what I truly feel about the Air series when it comes to Phone Rebel. This case really has came out and really just shaking the case game up, because we're talking about $21.99 for a case. That's extremely affordable. Hell, if you're watching this video, get it just because everybody got $21. You might can find that in the bottom of your car seat. $21.99, this is really swinging for the fences when we are talking about this case. And I'm gonna be real with you, I would have thought this case was going to be a little bit more expensive. That's what I feel like the quality is that you're getting for the price. At a time, I probably would have said that the best bang for your buck case before this probably was a Speaking Ultra Hybrid Frosted. You guys know I love that case because it's such a great price point. I keep two on that, hell, because they're so cheap. Phone Rebel Air Series coming in at $21.99 just makes this, in my opinion, the absolute budget king for cases for the 15 Pro Max. So if you're liking everything else about the Phone Rebel Gen 5 that you absolutely love, you want to get something that's going to be a little bit more small, a little bit more minimal, a little bit more just your style, go out there and get your Air Series, whether it's the blue version, whether it's the black version. I guarantee you will not be disappointed. I'm giving it my stamp of approval. I love it. All right. I love this case. It's been on my phone for a few weeks, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, it's probably going to remain on my phone for another few weeks. I'm glad I waited, because we still got to do a second round of top 10 cases, and this Phone Rebel Air Series is definitely going to find itself on that top 10. But if you find yourself with the drop season and you need the extra sturdy case, go ahead and check out the Gen 5. I will be sure to drop that video right there above. But if you're looking for the Air Series, once again, links down below. Go check it out.